the kickoff as the South Carolina Gamecocks take on the Clemson Tigers. Our coverage brought to you by Cars.com. Sean McDonough with Chris Spielman, joined in a moment by Rob Stone. And today, another head-to-head coaching matchup between Steve Spurrier and a member of the Bowden family. He's 0-1 head-to-head against Tommy Bowden in this rivalry. Overall, the Tigers have won the last 4 from the Gamecocks. Chris, both teams already bowl eligible, but both have a lot to play for today.
Well, Clemson's playing for their first 10-win seasons in 15 years, Sean. In South Carolina, if they win, gets them to 7-5 and an automatic bowl berth. Awesome energy in this building. I'm fired up.
Clemson won the toss and deferred. So the kickoff from Cole Chasen came down to Captain Munnerlyn, the true freshman, across the 35 and across the 40, where Tyler Grisham took him down. Tommy Bowden says our kickoff coverage has been bad this year, and it was bad again to open the game. A 39-yard return. The impact players on offense for South Carolina. Blake Mitchell, the starting quarterback at the beginning of the year, lost that job, has come back over the last 3 games. Outstanding. And his favorite target is one of the best receivers in the country, Sidney Rice. Still just a sophomore, but breaking receiving records at South Carolina virtually every week. Mitchell with his recent hot hand up to 68% completions for the season. 9-6 in his career as the starter. The junior from LaGrange, Georgia, on target to Sidney Rice to the Clemson 39-yard line. The starting lineups brought to you by Nivea for Men. South Carolina on offense, 24.6 points per game, only 55th best in the nation. Rice gets the attention. That opens up room for Kenny McKinley, another sophomore receiver, who over the last 4 games has had at least 70 yards receiving in each. He's a former high school quarterback. They're also starting the same offensive line for the 5th game in a row. That had been a problem spot early. Their play's been better lately, a reason why Mitchell's numbers have improved. Mitchell runs and gets 2. Dragged down from behind by Philip Merling, the sophomore from Memphis, Tennessee, a part of the Clemson defense, one of the best in the country, 5th in the nation in total defense, coordinated by Vic Koenig, and they've had to do that despite some key injuries at the linebacker spot. Maurice Nelson and Antonio Clay were not starters when the year began. They're in for outstanding injured players. Tremaine Billy hurt in the preseason, out all year. And Anthony Waters hurt in their first game. He's been out ever since. They thought Waters was an All-American candidate. Mitchell hit as he throws, and it's intercepted at the 15-yard line. Picked off by C.J. Gaddis. His second of the season. It was intended for Sidney Rice.
Sidney Rice right here is working the seam route. You see C.J. Gaddis playing the route, looking and turning for the football when the receiver hands goes back. You see right there, anytime you can get pressure up the middle, but Darrell Scott forces the ball to be underthrown. C.J. Gaddis in position, does a great job of snagging the ball with his hands. Pressure creates opportunity. C.J. Gaddis took advantage of the opportunity.
Gamecocks now -2 for the year in turnovers. Mitchell had been much better lately protecting the ball. 1st and 10, Clemson from their own 13. James Davis, the starter and running back. And he fights his way to the 16-yard line, tackled by Jordan Lindsay. Plenty of impact players on the offense for Clemson, including the running back tandem, really co-starters. The sophomore Davis averaging over 100 per game, and the freshman with great speed, C.J. Spiller. On defense, their star is Gaines Adams, who figures to be one of the top picks in next year's NFL draft. 2 sacks away from the career record here at Clemson. 2nd down and 7. Clemson, primarily a running team this year, and a drop for a loss. Casper Brinkley, the defensive end, part of the South Carolina defense, facing this Clemson offense, led by Will Proctor at quarterback. And the strength of the group, according to the offensive coordinator, Rob Spence, the offensive line. It is a veteran unit, 2nd in the nation in fewest sacks allowed. They've given up only 8 all year.
Anytime you can run the ball like Clemson runs it, give credit to the big fellas. They're the ones that open the holes, do the grunt work.
And starting offensive line has a combined 143 career starts, and that's without senior Roman Fry, an outstanding guard who is injured and not active today. Chancey Stuckey, their leading receiver, stayed in bounds, gets driven back from the 32, but more than enough for a first down, and the woofing begins in this rivalry. Carlos Thomas, a former wide receiver, drove him back for South Carolina, but it's a gain of 16 and a first down for Clemson.
Yeah, what they do is they high-low him. You see Will Proctor taking the easy throw, the open throw to Stuckey, and Stuckey does a nice job. And Carlos Thomas, the great form tackle, bringing his hips, but a big game, a good call by Rob Spence. They work the levels, high and low him. Will Proctor throw the open man. Low man's open, hits him.
Fred Bennett, the leader of their secondary, missed the tackle. That allowed the extra yardage for Stuckey. Proctor handed it off to Stuckey, coming around. Flag down to the line of scrimmage. Stuckey out of bounds near the first down marker. Savell Newton, who was their starting quarterback 3 games ago, has made the move to safety. He chased Stuckey out, and it'll come back on a holding call against the Tigers, negating a gain of 11 for Tommy Bowden's offense.
This is what you're seeing, and this is a lot of the Arkansas influence where they bring the wide receivers in motion.
During the run, holding number 68 on the offense. 10-yard penalty for the spot of the foul. Replay first down.
That's not new, though. That's Louisiana Tech, and Rob Spence did that at Louisiana Tech and at Toledo.
Chris McDuffie, the guilty party on the hold. He's the new starter for Roman Fry at left guard. There's a weak spot in that offensive line. It's McDuffie, although they think he's getting better week to week. It's first down and 17. The ball back at the 24-yard line. Will Proctor, 50-year senior, faked the handoff to Davis, and the ball dropped by Alex Pearson, the fullback. He's a U-back, lines up all over the place. Tight end and fullback. He was wide open and dropped it. South Carolina defensively, one of the best in the country in scoring defense, 21st, giving up only 16.3 points per game. Jasper Brinkley is their leading tackler at middle linebacker. Yvonne Banag, a new starter for the 2nd week in a row. Cody Wells out with an arm injury, and we mentioned Savell Newton making his 2nd start at safety after starting 7 games at quarterback this year for South Carolina. 2nd and 17. Proctor, a pump fake and a lob, and has his man wide open. Jacoby Ford, the true freshman, and he can fly. Look at that acceleration. Touchdown, Clemson.
Big play for Will Proctor. A guy that's had an up and down season, for him to come out against a rival and hit a big play like that. Then you see pure speed, Sean, to finish.
Chad Dean tries the extra point. He had struggles early with his timing. He's been much better lately, and that one knuckles its way through. Another explosive play by Jacoby Ford. 76 yards and a touchdown. His 4th play of over 55 yards this year. Here at Clemson, that's their 12th touchdown this season of 50 yards or more. A school record, 4 of them from Jacoby Ford. 2 receiving touchdowns of 50 or longer and 2 kick returns of longer than 50. Captain Munnerlyn takes the kickoff from Cole Chasen, and he's out to the 30, lost the ball. I believe they're going to rule him down back near the 30-yard line. Chris Chancellor, the tackle. Ford, one of the fastest players in the country, showed it on this play.
Watch Jacoby Ford right here. He's going to do a little in-out motion. He has Fred Bennett, and it's the old double move. Fred Bennett's in man-to-man coverage, and Fred slips on the double move, and all you see, Jacoby Ford, Will Proctor throws it up to him. This is what you cannot teach. I don't care what anybody tells you. Pure speed. And Sean, that's just what the Proctor ordered right there. 76-yard touchdown pass.
You've been working on that line all week.
Yes.
They marked the ball at the 36. Corey Boyd is the tailback. And he gets the call straight ahead through a nice hole. Avoids the umpire and has a first down. out to the 48-yard line. Here's Rob Stone.
Well, Sean, things easier for Ford on that touchdown run. You're looking right now at Fred Bennett behind me, the starting quarterback. He had hamstring issues in pregame. In fact, he left the field early, went into the training room. I spoke with the head trainer and told me it was just a little tightness in his left hamstring, but he came out, jumped on the bike before the kickoff. Now he's on the bench. The head trainer put some ice on that left hamstring and told me he is out for now.
That'll be a big blow. 33 career starts for Bennett, including today. Boyd again. Into Clemson territory to the 47. Of course, when you're fully healthy, it's hard enough to track down Jacoby Ford. At Cardinal Newman High School in Florida, he's from Royal Palm Beach, Florida. He won the state championship in the 100 meters at 10.32, the 200 meters at 21.25. Then did a year at Fork Union Military Academy, where they've had a lot of great players. And he was timed in the 40-yard dash at 4.126. Coach John Schumann says he's the fastest player they've ever had there.
I believe it after what I just witnessed.
Sidney Rice, the quick hitter, and another first down. This is reminiscent of their first possession when they moved into Clemson territory, and then Mitchell was intercepted by C.J. Gaddis. Rice tackled by Chris Chancellor, a redshirt freshman from Miami.
You know, it's so difficult to get pressure on the Steve Spurrier's coach football team, especially with Blake Mitchell, because they're coached so well to get rid of the football, and they get rid of it on time. If nothing's there, they do a good job of throwing it in the dirt.
Mike Davis now in at running back. He splits time with Corey Boyd. The quick pass is dropped by Davis, and we say aloha to Reese Davis.
Hello to you too, Sean. Rutgers coming off its first loss of the season in the hands of Cincinnati, taking on Syracuse. Scarlet Knights took the opening kickoff back for a touchdown, had that call back on a penalty. Ray Rice, undeterred, scores for Rutgers. They're up 7-0.
Here at 7-0 Clemson, 9:19 to go in the first quarter. 2nd and 10, South Carolina. The Tigers 41. A lot of time for Blake Mitchell, and he dumps it off for Leonard Stafford, the fullback. And he is close to a first down at the 31-yard line. He's a junior from Hemingway, South Carolina, walked on. He was a defensive lineman in high school, not recruited. Went to South Carolina for the engineering program. He's a 3.7 GPA. Coaches hardly noticed this little round guy, and finally one day Steve Spurrier said, hey, you think you might want to play some offense? He's become a fullback, and a very good one.
Well, too, there you show his athleticism, being able to catch the football, but I like the call by Spurrier. Short on the first down, but what they did, Sean, they run 3 verticals. That gets all the linebackers and DBs out of the way. They sneak the little round guy, as they like to call him down in South Carolina, just in the little check down area, and you get positive yards. It's a good recognition by Blake Mitchell.
And this Stafford at 5'9", that might be a little generous. 240 pounds. 3rd down in inches. South Carolina 46% this year on 3rd down. Much improved. That's up 12% from Spurrier's first year last year. They're 3rd in the SEC. Mitchell keeps and has the first down. Across the 30 to the 29. They're better in a lot of areas. The record last year was 7-5 with the bowl loss in the Independence Bowl to Shreveport. This year they're 6-5 with 12 regular season games, hoping to get to 7-5 and match last year's record. Steve said, we're better. They've lost a lot of close games. 4 of their 5 losses in the SEC were by a touchdown or less to some of the best teams in the country. Auburn, Tennessee, Arkansas, and Florida, all 7-point or fewer defeats.
Started 6 true freshmen throughout the year at various positions.
On 1st and 10, again, a lot of time and some running room for Mitchell. He's a reluctant runner. Now he's going to throw it into a crowd in the end zone. It's deflected and incomplete. Sidney Rice and Noah Whiteside were both there, as were a couple of orange shirts, and here's Reese Davis.
Right, Sean, West Virginia, in the early going against South Florida, stalled out on a drive, attempting a 23-yard field goal. Rodriguez opted for the fake, but the Bulls were ready, and they stopped Travis McClintock, and South Florida with a goal line stand, scoreless in Morgantown late in the first.
All right, Reese, here's 2nd down in 10. Carolina 6-5, but not guaranteed a bowl game. If they win today, they will be guaranteed a spot in one of the SEC-affiliated bowls. Mitchell hit as he throws, but has his receiver near a first down. It's Sidney Rice again. It looks like with that mark, he'll have it. Near the 19, the coverage was not all that tight.
The toughness of Blake Mitchell right there hanging in and letting Sidney Rice, who was lined up inside as a slot receiver, to create a matchup problem with a safety or a linebacker. Blake Mitchell, knowing he's going to get hit, hanging in there to let Sidney finish the route.
He got hit by Philip Merling as he threw it. 8 minutes to go, first quarter, 7-0 Clemson on a 76-yard touchdown pass. Will Proctor to Jacoby Ford. South Carolina moved on its first drive, then turned it over. They're moving again. On the delay, Corey Boyd, big hole inside the 5. And down inside the 2. Sergio Gillum saved a touchdown. 18 yards on the run by the junior from Orange, New Jersey. Corey Boyd, their leading rusher for the year, with 623 yards coming in.
Watch the vision, and Corey Boyd's going to hit the cutback, laying off the lead block off of his fullback. Watch him with the cutback. Right here, there's the vision in the cut. Can't be taught. And what you see is the South Carolina interior front staying on and finishing blocks with their feet. Anytime you can do that and you get Corey Boyd to see him in vision, he'll find a way to get her done.
A line that struggled for a lot of the year, but playing together for the 5th straight game, you can see the improvement. First and goal. Corey Boyd did not get there. This Clemson defense has given up only 8 touchdowns all year. Last year, in Clemson's 13-9 win in Columbia over the Gamecocks, South Carolina did not get it in the end zone. They kicked 3 field goals.
Down here, we talked about it all year, Sean. And if you can go to any stadium in the country, college, NFL, or high school, the low man wins. In order for Clemson to have a chance, they have to change the line of scrimmage and push it back.
11th play of the drive. Second and goal from the 1. Corey Boyd down to the goal line. No signal yet. Doesn't appear that he got in this time either. It'll be 3rd down and goal.
Darrell Scott got in there and got penetration. Came in from behind. You see big number 97 coming in, not getting knocked back, changing the line of scrimmage, and doing us all to keep Corey Boyd from throwing the pig across the line. Penetration kills short yardage.
Clemson defense 8th in the country in scoring defense. They give up under 14 a game. Trying to mount a goal line stand. Blake Mitchell keeps it. Touchdown, South Carolina.
It's a good call right there. I don't know if Blake had the option to audible, call his own number, but you saw a weakness. Clemson was so concerned about submarine in the offensive line, it created an opening over the top. Blake Mitchell exploited the opening for the 6.
12-play drive, 64 yards. It took 5 minutes and 11 seconds off the clock, and now Ryan Suckup trying to tie the game. The sophomore from Hickory, North Carolina, right through the middle. Final home game for 20 Clemson seniors. They were fired up as they came down the hill from Howard's Rock. Many of them for the final time. Ryan Suckup to kick off. 2 true freshmen back there with blazing speed. C.J. Spiller and Jacoby Ford, but that's one way to neutralize the speed. Kick it into the back of the end zone. When we talk about this rivalry, South Carolina and Clemson in-state, tremendous amount of emotion, and both coaches said it's as intense as any they've been involved with, but perhaps doesn't get the notoriety nationally because a lot of times it hasn't been as meaningful as other games. They haven't had great teams necessarily, but you can feel the energy in here.
That's the first thing I noticed, and I've done games at Clemson before, but you can feel the emotion from both sides. And I'm just watching how a team starts on special teams. Both teams are coming out with purpose and intent to get it done, and they're getting after it. If you love college football, you'll love this football game we're going to have going on right now.
Certainly has helped Tommy Bowden that he's 6-1 in this rivalry. C.J. Spiller, the freshman, he can fly. Will this be another long touchdown? Yes, it will. 80 yards, touchdown, Clemson. Dean for the extra point. 76-yard touchdown by a true freshman Ford, an 80-yard touchdown by a true freshman C.J. Spiller. Another one of the top track athletes in high school in the state of Florida. He was the state double 100-meter and 200-meter champion out of Union County High School in Lake Butler, Florida. 14-7, Clemson. The freshman has 6 of them. This one an 80-yard run. And it's 14-7, Clemson. Cole Chasen will kick off. Going down to Mike West, who muffs it at the 12. And does well to hang on to it at the 18-yard line. Ray McElrathbig made the tackle, just 7 yards on the return.
Watch Jacoby Ford. Anytime you have speed like Jacoby Ford, you have to account for him as a defense. Nobody sees that C.J. Spiller has the ball, and when you have speed, it makes it look like the Gamecock defenders are running in quicksand. I mean, he's just pulling away and gaining ground. Anytime you have that quick strike ability through the ground, creates a tremendous amount of pressure, and it is one of those explosive plays that Rob Spence tries to hit.
We'll talk about that in a moment. Of those 13 touchdowns of 50 yards more for Clemson this year, we mentioned Spiller has 6 of them. That is the school record for 50-yard plays in a year. Mitchell right back firing to Sidney Rice. First down at the 36. The action fast and furious. Here's Reese.
All right, Sean, also slinging it around is Mike Teal of Rutgers against Syracuse in our Taco Bell studio update. Teal, who threw 4 interceptions against Cincinnati last week, finds a wide open Kenny Britt for the touchdown. Scarlet Knights up 14-0. Florida and Florida State have started. Chris Hetland has missed another field goal for the Gators. He's 3 of 11 on the season.
Huge game for Florida. Trying to get into that national championship game. Here's Corey Boyd. A 13-yard run. Chris Clemens, the tackle. When we spoke with Rob Spence, the offensive coordinator of Clemson yesterday, he talked about explosive plays, and he and his coaching staff chart them. Basically, it's pass plays of 16 yards or more and rushing plays of 12 yards or more. And he believes that statistically it bears out. If you have 2 more explosive plays over the course of a game than your opponent, you're going to win. Well, whoever's charting the explosives is going to get tired today.
Well, you see right now, South Carolina has that 2-play edge, but we're early in this ball game. South Carolina's doing it on the ground and in the air.
Well, Clemson's plays have been ultra explosive, and there's another interception or no. They're going to rule it a catch, at least for the moment. Picked off by Nick Watkins, the outside linebacker junior from New Orleans. Mitchell under duress as he threw it. Steve Spurrier wanted that ball deeper down the field.
Well, your big-time players, we're talking about the biggest of the biggest. Gaines Adams gets the assist. You'll see Gaines Adams coming from the top of your screen. Working a nice little spin move. Leaves us there, yet he's able to get his hands to affect the throw. And right there, Nick Watkins did a good job of at least making a strong interpretation that he caught the ball. But again, pressure creating opportunities for the Clemson defense. 2 pressures, 2 interceptions.
And the interception stands with one hand by Nick Watkins, his 3rd pick of the year. Pass dumped off to C.J. Spiller. They can't get him on the ground on the first try. Captain Munnerlyn finally got him down. Jordan Lindsay missed the tackle.
With the tackle, a pickup of 11 yards.
Nick Watkins The only healthy linebacker who was a starter at the beginning of the year who's still healthy is their leading tackler for the season and had a career high 17 tackles in their last game. That was 2 weeks ago against NC State. They've had an extra week to prepare. South Carolina was in action last week against Middle Tennessee State at home. They rocked that team 52-7. Team that is going to win the Sun Belt. C.J. Spiller ran into Jasper Brinkley, the leading tackler for the Gamecocks, but it's a good gain on first down of about 4 to the 43-yard line of the Cox.
Let me give a big fella some love right there. Nathan Bennett did a good job pulling from his right guard position to become a lead blocker. And the one thing about C.J. Spiller, what I've noticed so far, it's a one move and hit it type of guy. He's not doing a lot of dancing back there. Blown it up inside.
Rob Spence says Spiller is as fast as anybody he's ever coached. Didn't get out of the backfield that time. Jordan Lindsay chopped him down, the junior from Mobile, Alabama. Dropped it for a loss back to the 45-yard line.
Nice job by Jordan Lindsay playing his responsibility. He saw the play fake go the other way. He understands that he's got to check for boot and reverse. And a good job of getting a slippery CJ down in the open field.
Brother Dustin was the co-starter on defense with Jordan last year. He's addressing some academic issues right now. They expect him back next year. James Davis, the lone back. He stays in the block for Will Proctor. The catch is made by Chancey Stuckey, but he could not get away from Carlos Thomas. Gain of only a yard or 2, and now Tommy Bowden will have a decision to make. They'll give the play forward progress to the 42, about 5 yards short of the first down.
It's a huge stop right there for South Carolina's defense. Clemson had great field position, unable to capitalize on the field position or the turnover that was created.
Full chase and will punt. He's already earned a degree in marketing back in May. Senior from Roswell, Georgia. 5 punts blocked last year, none this year. They've much improved in that area. Hangs it up very high. Kenny McKinley back deep, but they're going to catch it at the 4-yard line. Dwayne Coleman in perfect position. Rivalry Week presented by Remington continues today on ESPN2 and ESPN First on ESPN2, 4:15 Eastern. Boise State looks to finish the season undefeated as they take on Nevada. On ESPN at 7:45 Eastern. Wake Forest and Maryland. The winner wins the ACC Atlantic Division title. Rivalry Week presented by Remington. Here's Rob Stone.
Well, Sean, you guys mentioned that Blake Mitchell has been on a tear coming into this game. Not so much today. Coach Spurrier told us he would not hesitate to yank him and bring in the more athletic, more versatile, more mobile Sylvain Newton. Newton right now playing free safety, has not had any warm-ups, is not by Spurrier listening to the play calls. He has been strictly defense, but don't be caught off guard by a quick hook.
Mike Davis runs out to the 10. Gain of 6 on first down. Dwayne Coleman, a former running back, made the tackle. Well, this has been the story of the season for South Carolina. They moved the ball pretty well throughout the year on offense. Steve Spurrier pointed out, we've only punted 27 times. That's the 3rd fewest in the country. But they're 55th in the country in scoring. They haven't done a good job getting it in the end zone after moving it.
Yeah, and the turnovers. And you can't turn the ball over, especially against an explosive offense like Clemson.
The pitch back to Davis, and he gets nothing. Gaines Adams, the All-American candidate. Senior from Greenwood, South Carolina. Made the play behind the line of scrimmage, and that is the last play of the first quarter. Protecting the rock. Members of the Fighting Tiger Battalion.
Gaines Adams right there.
On 3rd and 6, did not get to Blake Mitchell, and the catch made by Noah Whiteside for a first down out to the 16-yard line. The tackle by Chris Chancellor. Well, it's been a little bit of the good and a little bit of the bad so far from Blake Mitchell. That's 7 and a good first down.
Good job by Justin Sorensen trying to block maybe a top 5 pick in the NFL draft come up. As Gaines Adams hurt you with speed and power. Justin got enough on him to push him past. Blake Mitchell stepped up in the pocket, delivered on time and on target.
Mike Davis, the tailback now. gets the handoff and cannot run away. C.J. Gaddis up from the corner. Darrell Scott out from the interior of the defensive line. A loss on the play, back to the 14. -2.
You got your corner up there, Sean. It's simple mathematics. You can't block them all until you back C.J. Gaddis off, either with some type of motion or some type of threat in his area. It'd be tough to run the football.
Mitchell to throw. Has a man open. It's Noah Whiteside again, and he escapes. Across the 40 to the 41-yard line. Chris Clemons, the safety, made the tackle. 27 yards on the completion to Whiteside. He entered the ballgame with 5 catches all year. He has 2 catches for 35 yards on this drive.
What they do again, we're talking about levels. You see McKinley sitting down, Noah Whiteside on the square end, and a good job with Rack. But the difference that I saw, Seville Newton, the quarterback, would have took off and run the football. Blake Mitchell steps up in the pocket, stays patient, eyes downfield, delivers the big so he can do his work. Noah Whiteside.
Mitchell, the more prototypical pocket passer. And here's a nifty run by Corey Boyd outside. Boy, I've already lost count of those explosive plays we were talking about. The runs of 12, the passes of 16. That's a 20-yard run, counts as an explosive. And you see the secondary winded, chasing these Gamecocks around. Dwayne Coleman finally got Boyd out of bounds.
Yeah, well, Chris Clemons gets on Corey Boyd's highlight film right there with a little shake and bake. Corey Boyd is a good running back, and anytime you're kind of overshadowed in the Steve Spurrier offense if you're the tailback, but you're not underappreciated. And right there you saw the talent of Corey Boyd making the defensive back shake and shimmy like that. Chris Clemons didn't even get a hand on it. Come on, Chris, bring your feet.
6 explosives already for South Carolina, 3 for Clemson, but 2 of those 3 went for touchdowns. Mitchell again hit as he throws. And that's happened today. That's been a bad omen for South Carolina. He got away with that one. Ricky Sapp hit him. We hit it back to Reese Davis.
Sean, maybe the standard for explosive plays should be 60 yards, and we have one in the Florida State game. Chris Leak flipping it out to Andre Caldwell. Gone. 66 yards for the touchdown, and the Gators have jumped on top 7-0 late in the first.
Well, both of these coaches know what it's like to be part of that rivalry, obviously. Steve Spurrier coaching his 22nd game head-to-head against one of the Bowdens, either Bobby, Terry, or Tommy. He's 9-11-1 all-time against the Bowdens. But 0-1 against Tommy in this South Carolina-Clemson rivalry. Corey Boyd out of the offensive backfield. Great effort after the catch to get very near the first down marker inside the 30. Again, Ricky Sapp made the tackle. 9 yards on the play. He was 5-8-1 against Bobby in those great days head-to-head, Florida State. And Steve Spurrier, while at Florida, went 4-2 head-to-head against Terry Bowden while he was the head coach at Auburn. Actually, the South Carolina press notes this week referred to the Clemson head coach as Terry Bowden.
Yeah. I wonder if that was on purpose and a little gamesmanship.
These rivalries, you wouldn't rule it out. South Carolina perfect on 3rd down.
Sneak it.
They scored a touchdown on 3rd and goal from the 1. This time they hand it off to Mike Davis, and he has the first down. The sophomore from Columbia, South Carolina. Tackled by Donnell Clark, a backup nose guard. Carolina moving again, down by a touchdown early in the 2nd quarter.
You know, the one thing I noticed about Blake Mitchell, even though he does have the 2 picks, there's no panic in the young man. And you can see that's what Steve Spurrier likes, because Steve is not above testing the kid mentally to see how tough he is. Blake Mitchell just keeps hanging in there, making plays, despite the 2 picks already thrown.
Play of the drive. Blitz off the corner. Mitchell runs away from it and throws, and it is caught inbounds at the 20-yard line by Noah Whiteside. 5 catches all year entering this game, 3 on this drive. That one's good for 7, chased out by C.J. Gaddis.
Well, you see again, they recognize the blitz. Blake Mitchell rolls away from the blitz, but the thing I like, and I don't see enough of it in college football, Noah Whiteside working back to help his quarterback on the run. Right here, Blake Mitchell, not a great runner, but good enough to buy time with his feet. Gaddis with the pressure, but here you go. Noah Whiteside working back to the football to help his quarterback make a play.
C.J. Gaddis came on the blitz. Did not get to Mitchell. Second and short, and Davis still bouncing off hits and inside the 5. If he broke one more tackle, he had a touchdown. Michael Hamlin, the safety, took him down. 16 more on the run. Another explosive play. And first down and goal for South Carolina.
Well, anytime you have an aggressive front like Clemson, where they'll hit it up hard upfield, you hit them right up the middle. Because guys are not looking for any run stoppage. You're not playing off blocks. Their number one goal is to get penetration and pass rush. And if you hit the quick hitters up the middle, you get big plays, just like Davis provided right there.
Averaging over 8 yards per play on this drive, which started at their own 4. Corey Boyd still fighting inside the 2. Clemson's defense leads the nation in fewest yards allowed per play. 3.89 yards per play allowed. Clemson, LSU, and Virginia Tech, the only defenses in the country allowing under 4 yards per play. Vic Koning's done a great job in his 2 years as defensive coordinator here, but they're giving up a lot more than 8 yards per play so far today against South Carolina. The question is, was Boyd down? Well, his forward progress was stopped. Second and goal from inside the 2. Boyd again slithering to the goal line. Mitchell saying touchdown, and now the officials concur. Touchdown, South Carolina.
It's a nice little change of pace. They did this on the short yardage to get the first down. They run away from the lead blocker. Everybody sees the lead blocker. Stafford lined up to one side thinking, okay, we're going to follow the round guy up the middle. No, what they do is send it the other way, away from the lead blocker. People not suspecting that you're going to try to run short yardage without a lead blocker. Well, they did, and they were successful.
Well, for a team that's had a tough time finishing drives this year, what a drive that was. Perhaps some question about whether they did finish it.
The prior play is under further review.
It stands, it's Boyd's 6th rushing touchdown of the year and 8th overall. Let's see if he got in there. It's going to be hard to tell from that replay.
We'll see from the other side. If you can see a ball or a body or anything, just see a stack of bodies. It's tough to get a read on that. Again, they're running away from the lead blocker right there. There's Corey Boyd going in without their lead blocker. The official from the side, the linesman comes in, sees the ball. He's got a better view than any of us do.
At review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
And there's certainly no conclusive evidence to overturn that call on the field of a touchdown. Good block by Chris White, the center, senior from Chester, South Carolina, making his 40th career start on that offensive line for the Gamecocks.
I had a chance to watch a lot of film on him this week, Sean. He's got a chance in an NFL career, a very good player.
They got their game ball last week with his performance against Middle Tennessee State. Ryan Suckup ties the game. 13 play drive, 96 yards. 5 ball coverage presented by Cars.com, 14 apiece. South Carolina with nearly 3 times as many plays because Clemson scored so quickly. Clemson's touchdown 76 and 80 yards.
One through the air and one on the ground. Doesn't give your defense much of a chance. The rest, if you score that quick, that's all right. You'll take them all day. A shootout track meet game.
Ryan Suckup, blessed with a very strong leg, booms that one back into the end zone, and C.J. Spiller will not run it out. We'll start at the 20 after we pose the Aflac. Where's the duck? The Duck took the day off.
He substituted for a turkey Thursday.
Yeah, I think he was hiding, a little bit afraid he might be mistaken for a turkey. Anyway, the last South Carolina coach to win here at Clemson. The last South Carolina head coach to win at Clemson. First game here for Steve Spurrier as head coach. Did his second year at South Carolina, 13-10 as head man of the Gamecocks. Lost his first try at home in this rivalry last year. As he replaced Lou Holtz. James Davis gets 6. Here's Reese Davis.
All right, Sean, West Virginia having a little trouble with South Florida. Fast bull defense keeping them in check with a little trickeration. A reverse with Darius Reynaud taking the pitch from Slayton. Reynaud showing the great speed. Unable to score on this explosive play. 3 times West Virginia's been into the red zone, but only 2 field goals to show for it. 6-0.
Isn't it wonderful how Reese pays close attention? He's talking about explosive plays, and he's got a lot going on back there, monitoring all those highlights, and yet he's paying attention. James Davis. He gets 9 more. Out to the 35, and a first down for Clemson. Casper Brinkley made the tackle.
Here's what Clemson does a good job of. That's kind of the same side trap. Well, they'll run the trap. Usually you'll see, watch James Davis. He's going to get the ball here, and watch the puller coming. It's the same side trap, and it's designed just for that, to get the defense to flow one way and come back and hit the same side.
Gamecocks were offside. Davis dropped for no gain, but they'll be penalized as Marvin Sapp was in the neutral zone and couldn't get back. It'll be first down and 5. First penalty against South Carolina. Of course, it's a non-conference game. South Carolina out of the SEC. These are Southeastern Conference officials, Clemson and ACC school.
Number 53 on the defense. 5-yard penalty. Replay first down.
Marvin Sapp on the blitz, a little anxious. But again, we've seen a lot of good running backs, and I'm seeing too, James Davis is a guy that I like because I see speed and power and great vision, and he's a young player. He's played last year. Obviously, he's a true freshman, sophomore this year, but he continues to get better, and I can see what they like and love in him. He's an explosive guy.
James Davis, sophomore from Atlanta, another flag down, a helmet on the field as well. Jordan Lindsay lost his hat. There is a flag.
No surprise to see headgear flying.
We asked you the question, who was the last South Carolina head coach to defeat Clemson in Death Valley? The answer is Brad Scott. Lou Holtz unable to do it during his tenure. Chop blocked the call. There's Brad Scott, now a Clemson assistant coach, offensive line coach. He won't be happy about the penalty for the chop block. Now, but that talk about going from the Hatfields to the McCoys in this state, or vice versa.
He's the offensive line coach, and he's wondering what went wrong. Usually on a legal chop block, a player is engaged high, and another player comes down low to take the guy's legs out.
And if you wanted to cheat and you had the ESPN College Football Encyclopedia, you could have come up with the answer to that. Page 781. Proctor dropped the snap and throws the play off. Stanley Doty drops the play for a loss. He's been in the doghouse, hasn't even dressed the last couple of weeks. And they elected to dress him and bring him over here this week. Steve Spurrier, in his typical dry way, said, well, at the very least, we'll be a little bit bigger team when we get over to Clemson. Tyrone Nix, the defensive coordinator in his second year. He's on the field. Rob Stone asked him in our meeting the other day, do you like being on the field? He said, yes, I do. I can communicate better with the players. I don't like it when we don't get the ball back fast enough and Coach Spurrier starts to yell at me. The old ball coach likes the ball back quickly. We might get it right here. Second down and long. Thomas Hunter, part of a deep stable of tight ends across the 30 to 32. Here's the always attentive Reese Davis.
But sometimes being a little inattentive in the pocket can cost you. West Virginia and South Florida. Pat White just gets it knocked out of his hands by Chris Robinson, and George Selvey says thank you very much. South Florida on top 7-6 in the second quarter.
That is a surprise. I still think West Virginia is the best team in the Big East.
Certainly have explosive players, since that's the word of the day.
Third down and 13. They'll need an explosive play to move the chains, and they don't get it. Crowd wanted a flag, and they're going to get one. I don't know about that. That looked like kind of an inadvertent collision out of bounds more than anything else. Tyler Grisham, the intended receiver. He did go down across the sideline.
See Emmanuel Cook coming late.
Yeah, the ball was well gone. Grisham was still in bounds, but the ball was way gone by then. Boy, what a terrible penalty.
Yeah.
They were going to get it back on a punt. Proctor got what he wanted, the flag. Emmanuel Cook, the true freshman from Riviera Beach, Florida, with a really bad penalty.
Yeah, Captain Munnerlyn did.
Hit on a defensive player. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Captain Munnerlyn, from his corner position, did a good job of getting underneath the 7 cut of the flag route. Emmanuel Cook was a little late, even though he did hit him while he was still in bounds. It wasn't exactly a vicious hit, but you know how I side on those things.
Yeah. Russell Lynn came off. You think it's all right. James Davis, the running back, had a big break for Clemson in this tie game. Will Proctor throws on the run, incomplete. Looking for Tyler Grisham. They think he was hit out of bounds again. I don't think they're going to get the call this time. Carlos Thomas had the coverage.
Well, this is where Will Proctor's got to be able to bail him out. South Carolina and Tyrone Nix are doing a job right now. They're going to commit to stop the run. Well, then you have to be able to throw the ball down the field. Right there, he had the guy wide open down the field. He's got to be able to deliver. Grisham was there. He's got to put the ball on his numbers.
Nick said the biggest positive of the defense this year, they have been in every game. They've given South Carolina a chance to win every week. I mentioned they've had a lot of narrow losses. They've also had a couple of close calls in their wins. Chancey Stuckey delivers a stiff arm and goes to the 46. He's their best receiver. Came here as a quarterback. Realized he wasn't going to see much time behind Charlie Whitehurst and Will Proctor. Made the conversion to wide receiver. Still a work in progress, but he's one of the best in the ACC.
Yeah, and I love the use of the stiff arm. Again, something that I don't see enough, but Chancey Stuckey went right to it and was able to keep Carlos Thomas from coming in and wrapping him up. Nice little right jab to the chops.
7-yard gain for Stuckey. 29 straight games with a catch coming in, so it's 30 in a row now. The pitch is muffed by Stuckey, and he's in a world of trouble. Gets away, but it's still a loss on the play. He got popped by Emmanuel Cook. Now, that was a clean hit by the true freshman, who Coach Nick says is the best tackler in their secondary.
You see Chancey Stuckey coming on a quick pitch, and I wouldn't go to Jordan Lindsay's side because Jordan Lindsay already proved that he can play the reverse. Now, if it works, it's a great play. If it doesn't work, you have a pretty darn good James Davis. Why don't you give him the ball to pitch and let him go ahead and get you 3 yards? But Jordan Lindsay's not going to be fooled. He's proven that.
Full chase in the punt to Kenny McKinley, who's standing at his 15-yard line. 4th down and 9. Another very high punt. McKinley wants a fair catch and has it near the 13-yard line. 39-yard punt, no return. Finally, a defensive stop in this game. 14 apiece. Beautiful day in the upstate of South Carolina. Temperature expected to get to 70 degrees here today, unseasonably mild. 1st and 10, South Carolina. Wide open offensive game so far. Under 5.5 to go in the first half. Tied at 14, and here's another big play. Kenny McKinley across the 30. 17-yard pickup, another explosive play. Michael Hamlin, the safety, sophomore from Timminsville, South Carolina, made the tackle.
Good job of blocking C.J. Gaddis. C.J. Gaddis had a beat on it. He read the mail, but McKinley works right back to the ball and is off and running. And he could do some damage with the rack, run after catch. Outstanding block by Jared Cook, another redshirt freshman tight end. A lot of young guys.
South Carolina averaging more than 7 yards per play. This one won't quite get them 7. The ball out for a moment. Freddie Brown got the ball back. Dwayne Coleman made the tackle. Actually, Bell Connor came up with the football, but they're going to rule Brown down at the 35. For a gain of about 5. Was this a fumble?
It's a good hit by Dwayne Coleman.
Yeah, that's a fumble.
That's a fumble. That ball is out.
And who has the ball?
That ball is out. You see Coach Bowden down there. Coach Bowden's down there calling timeout. He's standing right by the field judge. He wants a TO. Give him a TO. Just getting you ready for basketball, Sean.
Yeah. Already had a little basketball in Maui this week. It's an easy trip from Maui back to Clemson, South Carolina, if you ever want to try it.
It's going to be Clemson ball.
Well, I wonder if the whistle blew.
See right here, Dwayne Coleman does a good job of putting a helmet on the football. That ball is out. Now, Connor comes in. Clem's guy is feet or out of bounds when he recovers the ball.
I think they told Tommy Bowden that he can't challenge. I would assume because the whistle had blown. So 2nd down and 5. And a quick pass to Sidney Rice, and he gets smothered. Quick reaction again on that corner. Dresden Butler, true freshman from Asheville, North Carolina. They think he's a future star. He's had 3 interceptions already this year.
Now what Florida has in their game plan, they'll have that fake bubble screen, and they'll have a guy shooting down the seam. So they'll fake the screen and go deep, just something to keep your eyes on. So later on in the ball game, McKinley couldn't get the block on Butler. Butler finished.
3rd down and 7. Blake Mitchell out of the gun. Deafening noise here at Death Valley. Just a 4-man rush and a lot of time. He has his receiver. It's juggled, but caught by Freddie Brown. Has had a tough time with his hands on this series, but enough for the 1st down. Just did hang on. 8-yard gain for the redshirt freshman out of Duncan, South Carolina.
Good job of Blake Mitchell going back to Freddie Brown. And again, Freddie Brown lived to fight another round. Was able to capitalize when his quarterback called his number for the 1st. Little option route.
This Clemson defense held the great Calvin Johnson of Georgia Tech without a reception in the game against the Yellow Jackets. Sidney Rice has 5 catches today already for 53 yards, and he's also opened up some room for the other receivers. Mike Davis, the ball carrier, out to the 47-yard line. Pete Carroll has the Trojans in position for another spot in the BCS championship game. Tonight they'll take on the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, ranked number 6. Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines, part of Rivalry Week, presented by Remington on ABC.
Notre Dame certainly has the offensive explosion. There's that word, to hang with SC. Can they hang with them? Containing SC on the offensive side of the ball. Notre Dame's defense.
USC is one of the last 4 head-to-head in that rivalry. Mitchell has a receiver wide open, has another 1st down. Kenny McKinley inside the 40. Antonio Clay made the tackle. Here's Reese.
Sean, coming up on the Pontiac Performance halftime report, the Sunshine State Showdown underway. We'll see if the Seminoles can muster any offense at all. Notre Dame and USC tonight on ABC. Mark and Lou will join me and look ahead to the keys to see the Trojans continue to march toward the national championship game. We'll also see if there's an upset brewing in Morgantown, South Florida, off to a good start on the road against the Mountaineers.
Good-looking drive here for South Carolina. 1st and 10 at the Clemson 38-yard line. Down to 2 minutes to go in the half. Mitchell has running room. Mitchell has about 5. He'll mark him out at the 35-yard line. Gain of about 3.5, chased out by Gaines Adams.
Well, Gaines Adams right there, what he's been doing is kind of been overrunning Mitchell. Mitchell's been stepping up in the pocket. Gaines Adams comes underneath. A good job of recognition by Mitchell to get outside and get positive yardage where Gaines has to keep contained. No matter what, he must keep contained or you leave the opening, and Mitchell exploited it.
Gaines Adams played 8-man football in high school with a small school. His coach was Steve Tannehill, the former South Carolina flamboyant quarterback. And he helped Adams get to the arch-rival Clemson. South Carolina wasn't interested. Kenny McKinley the catch to the 23-yard line. First down, Gamecocks, 13 yards. Here's Rob Stone.
Sean, ESPN NFL draft expert Mel Kiper told me Adams should be the first defensive player taken in the April NFL draft. His stock has gone up through the season. He could go as high as number 3. That stock may rise once teams meet him, guys. One NFL executive told me the quality he has off the field will only add to his value. Coach Bowden told us he's never been in my office, never been in trouble, never had a bad report. There are no red flags on this guy.
On the delay, it's Corey Boyd. And then he gets to the 22, and that's all. A gain of 1. Philip Merling made the tackle. Gaines Adams.
Philip Merling did a good job of not just running upfield out of control. He was able to keep control, thus play the run. That's the problem where South Carolina has been able to take advantage of the aggressive defensive line play of Clemson getting up the field too much. They're just pushing them by the hole.
Minute to go in the half. Each team with its full complement of timeouts remaining. Bernard Stafford, the fullback, stayed in the block. Mitchell with all kinds of running room. First down, he slides down at the 8. And a flag down.
Blake Mitchell on the quarterback keeper.
Well, at least our bug says there's a flag. We do not see one from here. There is no flag on the play.
Again, the recognition of Mitchell of when to stay behind the line of scrimmage to let the route develop downfield or when to tuck it and run. Making every decision that the quarterback should make in this very difficult offense to run as a quarterback. Steve Spurrier led. Oh.
One more play without a timeout. They don't get it in the end zone. They'll need to start thinking about using them. 20 seconds to go. There is a flag down for sure. And this is intercepted. Jock McKissick, 295 pounds. Will they catch him? They're running out of time. Touchdown! There is a flag thrown at the snap by the line judge.
Now what you have is Clemson came with pressure. The question is going to be, did they jump off sides early on the blitz, or did somebody have a hiccup on the Gamecock side of the ball?
Illegal formation on the offense. Touchdown.
Gaines Adams with the tip, with the rejection. Now watch Gaines Adams. Gaines Adams will not quit on the play. He's out there cutting off a fast, speedy Corey Boyd. Then he gets to McKinley's way, and the big fella finds the tiger paw.
3 interceptions thrown by Spurrier's quarterback, Blake Mitchell. That one, tough luck. Adams deflected it, and McKissick took it back 82 yards. The sophomore from Opelika, Alabama, 6'6", 295. He probably didn't expect that to happen when he woke up this morning. Plunge off tackle. It's 45 yards shorter than any of their previous 3 touchdowns today. Second score of the day for the freshman Spiller. And it gets him over 100 yards for the 5th time this year. He breaks James Davis's record set a year ago. Jadine the extra point. And now Coach Spurrier and the Gamecocks really up against it.
Yeah, watch Chauncey Stuckey. Speed. Run the hook, CJ. Run the hook. Get in.
Sean back down at Chris Spielman, Rob Stone, back at Aracas Memorial Stadium, Clemson, South Carolina. Clemson, after stopping South Carolina on 4th down, needed just 3 plays to score. C.J. Spiller, the 31-yard touchdown. He has 118 yards rushing now in just 5 carries. Jason's kickoff down to Mike West. And he's out to the 33-yard line.
Sean, let's take a look at the touchdown. You and I talk about it all year. Receivers blocking downfield. That's Chancey Stuckey. Take a look. Watch him finish off Carlos Thomas. Right there's the block, and you'll see CJ spring the corner. Carlos doesn't have time to get off his rear and catch the one that can finish with speed. CJ Spiller. Good job, Chancey. Hines Ward, be very proud of you after that one. Keyshawn Johnson, too, by the way, another guy who blocks downfield. Unselfish receivers. Beautiful.
C.J. Spiller, 118 yards on only 5 carries. He's coming off his best game as a college football player, 154 yards in their last game 2 weeks ago against NC State. Mike Davis, a tough run. He got 9, slammed into Chris Clemons, who made the tackle, the junior safety from Hartsville, South Carolina.
This is where the test comes for the mental toughness test of Clemson's defense, Sean. They've been on the field the whole game. Coach Bowden addressed it at the beginning of the half, is that they're scoring so quick that their defense isn't getting any rest, but it's the defense's job to get off the field.
Well, the turnovers on offense, the big plays allowed on defense. The undoing of South Carolina so far today, despite the fact they continue to move the ball virtually at will against this Clemson defense. Davis runs for 17 more. Michael Hamlin the tackle. Davis limps off. First down.
Well, we talked about it, even though it doesn't go down in the statistics as a turnover, the 4th and 2 works just like a turnover. And maybe better than a turnover because you get some positive yardage as opposed to an interception where you get it down the field.
James Adams started across the line. You wonder if that resulted in a flinch by Justin Sorensen, or perhaps a little flinch first from Sorensen.
Dead ball, false start, number 78 on the offense. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
I'd want to move quickly, too, if I had to block Gaines Adams. Sorensen, just a sophomore, making his 5th career start from Vancouver Island, British Columbia, one of the most beautiful places in North America.
He's done a pretty decent job against Gaines Adams. A lot of Gaines' pressures have been on Gaines up the middle.
Well, 1st and 15. 8 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. South Carolina ball down 14. Corey Boyd chopped down at the 47. He got the 5 penalty yards back. Gaines Adams playing like the All-American he is today. Final game on this home field. He's been all over Blake Mitchell.
The one thing that makes him special, I told you he can rush with speed and power, but the other thing that he has is he's got a great motor. He's going 100 miles per hour all day.
Didn't want to play football in high school, got talked into it by the former quarterback at South Carolina, Steve Tannehill. This quarterback, Mitchell, going deep and incomplete. Michael Hamlin, the safety, had coverage on Kenny McKinley. And it'll be 3rd down and 10. And when Gaines Adams did come out for football, he was a basketball player and much preferred hoop. He was a wide receiver. As he grew into his body, became a defensive player. In 8-man football, he'd play on both sides of the field. He learned a lot about angles because you're doing a lot of running, covering all that extra open space. Went to prep school, became a dominant defensive lineman. Recruited by a lot of schools then, but came to Clemson with the support of his former Gamecock coach. There he is. And he will likely be roaring after Mitchell. He missed him. And the pass is caught by Freddie Brown. Very near the 1st down. He goes down. Dwayne Coleman, the tackle, with help from Nick Watkins.
They got a good spot right there. Dwayne Coleman had a shot to make the tackle to keep him from getting the 1st down, and Freddie Brown did a good job of spinning away, getting it. And see where the ball is spotted. You see our yellow line. Ball short of the 1st down marker on Unofficial, of course.
Yeah, but it does serve as a reference for us. The ball should not have been marked on the yellow line. I believe they did mark it on that yellow line.
Be close.
Well, if you went for it on 4th and 2 with your own 39, you're certainly going to go for this 4th down in inches at the plus 37.
Clemson's defensive line does have bubbles in it for the sneak, little openings. And also what they've been doing is running away from the offset back, running away from the lead blocker in the backfield. That's been their 2 short yardage plays that have been successful so far. The sneak and the away play, away from the lead blocker.
Well, the 4th down game will hurt his team moments ago. Now no choice, down by 2 touchdowns with this field position. You have to go for it with under 7 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Davis and Stafford in the backfield, all in close to Mitchell. Looks like he has a gap to go straight ahead with a sneak. Instead, he gave it off to Davis. And it doesn't look like he got there.
Well, there's the foot, left foot short of the line.
Philip Merling, the primary hit with help from Maurice Nelson.
When you don't have a lead blocker, that's what can happen. Philip Merling made the stop on the goal line earlier, same type of play. Penetrates and tackles the guy behind the line of scrimmage in Davis. Away from the lead blocker like we talked about. It's Philip Merling inside. Fighting to keep him from lunging forward. There's the left foot coming in.
So close, the referee has to lean over. First down. Haynes Adams leaving in there saying no, they didn't have it. But Thomas Ritter says yes, they did. Whoa, look at the Clemson sideline. Well, this is a first in my television career. I've never seen a replay of a measurement. Well, Tom Ritter said they've got it. And it was apparently by a fraction. Wow. Mitchell dumps it off, has a man. Sidney Rice. Well, so often in rivalries they have their signature moments. And you wonder if someday this one will go in the history books as the game of the measurement, because they'll be talking about this for a while, especially if South Carolina comes back to win. 18 yards on the completion of the brilliant sophomore Sidney Rice.
Again, you see the composure of Blake Mitchell, even though he has thrown the ball away a little bit as far as interceptions. He still steps up into that pocket and throws it with great confidence. And you got a guy like Sidney Rice. I see why you have the confidence.
From the 19-yard line, Mitchell again has a man in the flat and a lot of running room for Mike Davis. Hurdles down to the 2. 17 yards on the pickup. Dwayne Coleman saved the touchdown.
Mike Davis sneaking out into the flat. Jared Cook, the tight end, runs Dwayne Coleman off. Dwayne Coleman comes back, doing his best WWE with the slam.
Davis has been bothered by a boil on his thigh. He was questionable today, did not play in their game last week. The statistical domination continues. Time of possession, total yardage, first downs, all big in favor of South Carolina, but they're down by 2 touchdowns. First and goal. Davis, touchdown, South Carolina. For the first down to keep the drive going by perhaps 1 link of the chain. The measurement disputed vehemently by Clemson. They capitalize on the opportunity and punch it in. A 1-yard run by Davis. And the Gamecocks within 8 with the extra point to come off the foot of Ryan Suckup.
Little difference there. Instead of going to the short yardage offensive formation, they spread them out.
And Suckup's kick is good. A measurement that will long be remembered perhaps in the Palmetto State. It's a 1-touchdown game. The winner of the Wake Forest Maryland game tonight will be the champion of the Atlantic Division. Will play Georgia Tech in the ACC championship game. Suckup all the way out of the back of the end zone. No chance for C.J. Spiller.
is where Tyrone Nix has got to draw up a run-stopping defense, and I would do it playing zone. Not so much to worry about the deep pass. I would do it just in case the running backs, the explosion of Davis and C.J. Spiller get to the second level, because if they're even, they're leaving. You're not going to catch them. So if you're in man coverage, you don't see them till late. They're running by you. So I would make sure that I'd play zone to get my secondary involved in stopping some of the running plays that Clemson has been able to strike big with.
Clemson's run only 25 plays to 55 for South Carolina. But Clemson has averaged 10.5 yards per play. And they've had a defensive score of 82 yards as well. Jacoby Ford forced to reverse his field. And the former Florida State track champion goes out of bounds with a first down. Here's Reese.
Sean, I could just watch that guy run all day. Ford's a treat. So too is West Virginia, down 14-6 to South Florida. Pat White to Brandon Miles, the touchdown catch. 2-point conversion, no good. But the Bulls are on the move deep in West Virginia territory now.
South Florida, one of those pesky teams you really don't want to play, especially when you're in the position West Virginia's in with so much at stake. 12-yard gain for Jacoby Ford. First and 10, Will Proctor throws out into the flat, caught by Thomas Hunter. The ball's out, and the Gamecocks appear to have it. Emmanuel Cook popped it out. One official seems to be signaling the ball dead and out of bounds, but the Gamecocks are still celebrating, and it is their ball. Jordan Lindsay recovered the fumble.
Well, you love it when a big defensive back, and Emmanuel Cook at 6 foot 210, is not afraid to come in and hit a 260-pound tight end high. Instead of cutting the knees, what he's going to do is put his shoulder right on the ball. Look at that, and drive his feet. Ball strips out as Hunter's fighting for extra yardage. You can't blame the kid for fighting for extra yardage. Ball security and hustle to the ball gets the fumble
Why
recovery.
is the one official spotting the ball along the sideline 2 yards further up from where it's recovered? That official there, look where he goes. He goes over and then puts his arms up over his head like he's spotting the ball right there. I have no idea what that was about, but it's ruled a fumble and recovered at the 34-yard line. Hunter just barely in bounds when he lost the ball. Now a chance to tie it with a touchdown. Mitchell pulls it down. Mitchell has room and close to another first down. Nick Watkins got him on the ground. Mitchell might be shaken up. Looked like he was about a half-yard short of the first down. You wonder if he just got the wind knocked out of him.
Yeah, you don't want it to be a shoulder thing. He looks like he's moving his arm okay, and he might have came down on the ball or came down awkward or his side. He's pointing to his hip or his back or his ribs. Again, Blake Mitchell, his composure, despite throwing a couple interceptions, 3 to be exact, the ability to recognize and step up and run. Like he came down on his left side, kind of awkward, grabbing his hip.
Immediately, as he was covered by Watkins. Well, he's had some bad moments with the interceptions. They have to help him up. But they've also had 380 yards of offense. Still 5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Now his backup, we believe, would be Savell Newton. Mitchell was the starting quarterback at the beginning of the year. Struggled in part because the line couldn't protect him, and he's not as mobile as Newton. They went to Newton, who started 7 games. He went 4-3. And then Mitchell at halftime of the Arkansas game, when they were down 23-6, inserted back in, played very well, started the last 2. It's Tommy Beecher, listed as the third-string quarterback, who's into the ball game. Redshirt freshman from Concord, North Carolina, put in a very tough spot. And South Carolina is going to use a timeout. Maybe they're going to see if they can get Mitchell back out there as he tries to shake it off.
That play clock was running down.
Beecher took the first snaps of his career last week in their rout of Middle Tennessee State in Columbia, and his only pass was a 3-yard touchdown. And Mitchell looks to be in a lot of pain with a rib or abdominal injury. And let's check in with Rob Stone.
Well, Sean, that's Bill Martin, the head trainer for South Carolina, working on Mitchell right now. It does appear to be his rib type area on the left side. Interesting note, it was Tommy Beecher who went out there to take that play, but guess who trotted out into the offensive huddle during that timeout? Number 13, Savell Newton. He's been having those defensive gloves on all game. I can't get a good look yet to see if he's popped them off yet, if he's going to take it and give it a go at quarterback, but it looks like they may have just moved him back up to number 2 as they continue to work on Mitchell.
Once Mitchell took over, Newton wanted to play, and he thinks his best opportunity to play in the NFL might be as a defensive back anyway. So the coaching staff moved him to safety. He started there 2 games ago against Florida.
Well, I watched him play on film. I watched 3 games this week, and not only can he play safety and quarterback, but he's a pretty darn good wide receiver. He's a tremendous athlete that has a lot of ability. But I don't know how much he's practiced this week. Coach Spurrier said he's practiced. I doubt it. I know Vic Conan and the Clemson defense is prepared for a Savell Newton package, but they're not getting one now.
Well, it's going to be Beecher, yep. On 2nd down and 1. Interesting they had him out of the shotgun. What you think might be just to give him a handoff and get the 1st down. Instead, they have him throwing, and he throws it to McKinley way behind the line of scrimmage. He makes something out of nothing, has the 1st down, and goes out of bounds inside the 10. Well, again, I think South Carolina, Chris, got away with a curious call. You have a very inexperienced quarterback in there. The opportunity to give him a handoff on his first play, pick up the 1st down, keep it going, and give more time to tend to Mitchell. Instead, you run a play that could have been a disaster, and they got away with it.
Well, I'll tell you, Beecher does a good job of not panicking. Gets it into a playmaker's hands, and McKinley and Clemson's defense is not running the football, Sean. They were exposed a little bit right there. They're getting a little bit tired because he cut back into a pass rush play of a defensive lineman. Lack of hustle, lack of making a play.
And perhaps fatigue for this defense has been on the field for 57 plays now. Mitchell back in. He gave it to Davis. Touchdown! What an effort at the end of the run.
Davis was on the bench after his previous touchdown saying, how about this running back throw? I'll take a look, give him a leg and take it away, Mike. He's going to make the player miss right there. He makes the Antonio Clay miss, and the effort and the willingness to get in the end zone, can't beat it. Mike Davis.
Brian Suckup to tie it up. They were down by 2 touchdowns earlier in this quarter. The kick is good. 4:19 to go, 3rd quarter. We're tied at 28. Well, we mentioned earlier these coaches talked about this rivalry as intense as any really in college football. In-state battle perhaps hasn't gotten the attention nationwide because a lot of times these teams, one or the other or both, haven't been very good. Well, this is a rivalry that you put on par with just about anything for excitement and certainly the atmosphere here in the stands.
Yeah, I've done one Clemson game that was nothing like this, and the fact that it's South Carolina Clemson, the energy since I've been here has been awesome. And what I love is how the players are playing. They're playing for each other, they're playing for their schools, and they're playing for bragging rights around the state of South Carolina. I couldn't ask for a better treat on a Saturday afternoon. It's awesome.
Interesting what it means to these 2 programs. South Carolina believes they're on the way up under Steve Spurrier. He said we're still not big enough, strong enough to really compete for an SEC championship. But he believes recruiting is heading in the right direction toward that goal. And for Clemson, a season of high expectations. They were 7-1 at one point in the top 10, thinking about ACC and championship aspirations, national championship aspirations. A couple of 1-point losses really derailed their season to Boston College and against Maryland. Tommy Bowden believes they still might have the best team in the ACC. It just isn't going to be demonstrated with a championship. He said, hey, if Wake Forest wins that game against Maryland, they're going to play Georgia Tech. We beat both those teams.
Yeah. Well, they got to find a way to throw the ball if they want to get out of this one. Say they beat South Carolina. If they can't throw it, South Carolina's going to get them.
Suck up into the end zone. The crowd groans. Kobe Ford, with his playmaking skills, only about 3 yards deep, took a knee. Here's Reese Davis.
Sean, I now say it's late enough to deem West Virginia in a little bit of trouble against South Florida, the 7th-ranked team in the land at home. Max Grothe to Ian Randolph. Randolph tight ropes the sideline, initially ruled out of bounds. They looked at it again, gave him a touchdown. Bulls up by 9.
Wow. Yep, and it is getting late. Reese is the ultimate determiner of what qualifies for late in the game. Of course, West Virginia, even though they lean heavily on the run, they can score quickly. From the 20, Will Proctor now in a tie game. Throws it to the near sideline, caught out of bounds. Chancey Stuckey hauled it in. The officials conferring. One official already ruled it incomplete. The other official might be trying to talk him out of that call. Captain Munnerlyn had the coverage, the true freshman from Mobile, Alabama. Now the referee, Tom Ritter, is going to say, all right, gentlemen, let's come to a resolution of this one way or the other. One official already signaled incomplete. Crowd's looking at a replay. They think it was complete. Now the coaches better calm down.
I'll tell you, this is a heck of a throw by Proctor. This is from the opposite hash. It's a good shot.
Well, that wasn't the original ruling, but after conversation, it looks like they got it right, because it looked like he had possession, and that back foot is on the ground dragging, while the other foot that's heading over the sideline is still in the air.
It's great awareness by Stuckey, the senior, your veteran, making a key catch in a key moment of the ball game. Great coverage by the captain.
And good work by the officials. They corrected the error. 41-yard line, 21-yard gain on the completion to Stuckey. His fourth catch of the ball game, 143 in his career now. Proctor, look out, in trouble. It is picked off. This is going to be run back. Nathan Pepper lost the football. Was he in the end zone? No, it's a touchback. James Davis ran him down and poked it out.
Nathan Pepper, young man, finished the play, and you could be a hero. But James Davis, you know one thing? James Davis is going to give you everything he has. He's the screen player. Watch Nathan Pepper. He's got 6. He's looking behind him. He doesn't count on James Davis.
Oh, he starts
to walk at the 6. Leon Lettish, you got to go ahead and finish, big fella. Make yourself a star. James Davis is going to finish.
Oh, my goodness.
First down and 10 on the 20.
Nathan Pepper slows down inside the 10. James Davis, with his great speed, able to pop it out of the end zone, touchback. Steve Spurrier can't believe it. So many close losses, and these are the types of things that keep you on the losing side of games like this.
Well, the thing that's frustrating is Pepper thought he had 6, and he started trotting. Now, he's a big fella. You can't trot when you got an effort guy like James Davis chasing you. Nobody
Clearly
blocks
didn't know he was there.
Well, he's got to know. He's got to anticipate that I'm not the fastest guy in the world. Somebody's on my heels.
Nathan Pepper, sophomore from Greenville, South Carolina. But when this game goes into the history books, it's going to be quite a lively chapter. The 104th renewal of this rivalry. Proctor's pass incomplete, intended for Stuckey. Marvin Sapp had the coverage. Proctor, a fifth-year senior, first-year starter, waited patiently for 4 years behind Charlie Whitehurst. He admitted he thought about transferring, but he didn't want to quit, essentially, on his situation here. He knew his chance would come, even if it was just for 1 year. And he's very talented. He hasn't always had a chance to display it because they've been such a run-oriented team. Fifth in the nation in rushing offense, with the great line and Davis and Spiller, the outstanding backs. Tyler Grisham, the catch, out to the 27, 3 yards short of the first down. Tonight, Notre Dame and USC. Great rivalry, each ranked in the top 6 in the country. It's Saturday Night Football on ABC, 8 Eastern Time, presented by Southwest Airlines, part of Rivalry Week, presented by Remington. Only the 5th time ever they've played each other when both have been ranked in the top 6. Big 3rd down and 3 here for the Clemson offense. They've had just 9 first downs. Carolina's at 23. What will happen next in this game? Proctor dumps it over the middle, and it's almost intercepted again. Proctor starting to hear some boo birds. Jordan Lindsay, when diving for an interception, as the season started to head in the wrong direction from 7-1 to 8-3. Proctor, as is so often the case with a quarterback, has come under some criticism here locally.
Well, he was locked. He was locked on his receiver, and Jordan Lindsay is dropping back from his defensive end position into the flat coverage. Proctor's locked in, and Jordan almost makes a big play. Tough play for a defensive lineman. But again, you're lucky to get away by punting the ball after that play and giving your defense a chance to play field position.
Cole Chasen will punt again. You saw McKinley looking into the sun back deep for the punt. Chasen, boy, does he hang him up high. McKinley, fair catch made near the 23-yard line. Well, how's Blake Mitchell doing? He's about to put the helmet on, it seems. Rob?
Well, Sean, the word on him, according to the head trainer, Bill Martin, is it is a bruised rib. You saw them putting that ace bandage wrapping around his mid-cage, if you will, put some tape on it, just to try and keep some compression on it. He went back behind the bench, threw some warm-up tosses. First toss, whipped it in there, looked at the trainers, gave him that old nod like, yeah, I'm okay, let's give it a go. So he's back out there.
Blake has come back from being benched basically for Savell Newton. And the way he's performed today, I'll tell you, his teammates ought to be proud of him. They should rally around him and show him some courage with the bruised rib.
Tied at 28, under 2.5 to go, third quarter. Corey Boyd, the running back, trying to bounce outside. Boy, this line deserves a lot of credit for their performance today. They've been much maligned all year. 11 yards on that run. Here's Reese.
Sean, not quite as many fireworks going on in the Virginia Tech game. Hokies up by 10. Sean Glennon finding Eddie Royal, keeps his feet. A little move and he is gone. The Hokies at home taking care of Virginia 17-0 in the fourth quarter.
Well, to squash Virginia's bowl hopes, but really the Cavaliers' bowl hopes got away very early in the season with a couple of tough losses with a young team that got better as the year went on under Al Groh and his staff. First and 10, 32-yard line. Boyd trying to find a hole. Tackled around the shins at the 35-yard line by Nick Watkins.
Sean, you made a great point. The previous play is the offensive line. No, they had a penalty right there. They've really done an awesome job today of controlling the line of scrimmage. Now, everybody talks about how the defense has been on the field a lot. Well, guess what? Those guys are all 300+ too on the offensive side. They've been on the field a lot, and they've won the battle in the trenches so far. Evidence the rushing yards that South Carolina has been able to put up.
They rushed for 181. This play is going to be wiped out. They've passed for 237.
Illegal shift on the offense. All players were not fed. 1 second following the ready. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Fourth penalty against the Gamecocks. Only 2 for Clemson. Steve Spurrier, as usual, calls the plays. Acts as his own offensive coordinator. To go, third quarter.
Sidney Rice has been a little bit quiet this second half. Sidney's right here. He's outside. Gaines Adams getting ready. There he is.
Mitchell under duress has his man. Sidney Rice, a first down. Out of the 46-yard line, chased out by Chris Clemons. 7 catches for 90 yards for Rice. Well, Steve Spurrier early in the third quarter went for a 4th down and 2 at his own 39, didn't get it. It led to a touchdown for Clemson. And Nathan Pepper with an interception, a chance to give him the lead after they had tied it up following a controversial measurement. Pepper had it punched out by James Davis. It remained a tie game. And now Carolina has the ball back, approaching midfield, 1st and 10. Corey Boyd for a yard, and that's all. Tackled by Nick Watkins, the only starting linebacker at the beginning of the year who made it past the first game. You wonder how much better this excellent defense would be had Tremaine Billy and Anthony Waters were to be the other 2 starting linebackers not been injured. Billy's missed the whole year. Waters played in 1 game. They're 5th in the country in total defense coming in without those 2. Waters dressed for the game today, even though he hasn't played since the first game of the year. Wanted to be in uniform for the final home game for seniors. 2nd down and a long 9. And Mitchell content just to get rid of that and come back to fight again on 3rd down as he threw it at the legs of Corey Boyd. Rashad Jackson providing the heat.
They brought Gaines Adams from an up position, getting pressure up the middle. Rashad hanging on Corey Boyd, recognizing the screen, pulling off his rush and playing a little man-to-man on the little fella.
Tommy Bowden, of course, the Bowdens and Steve Spurrier, a lot of memorable battles. But Tommy Bowden said, I have great admiration for Coach Spurrier. He's a great motivator. and his offensive mind is second to none. Let's see what the old ball coach is dialed up on 3rd down and 9. Mitchell with a lot of time, throws, almost intercepted again. Anthony Clay, the linebacker, dropped in the coverage and got his mitts on it. It was thrown in the direction of Sidney Rice. Incomplete. Will this be the first punt of the day finally from Carolina?
Antonio did a good job of not jumping anything underneath. You see right there, he's got the fullback sitting underneath, but Antonio says, I'm not biting. I know if one's in front, one's behind. Let me stay behind and knock her down.
Ryan Suckup with the first punt of the day for South Carolina, the 28th of the season. 6 of those were in their opener against Mississippi State. Hawaii has punted only 15 times this year with that incredible offense led by Colt Brennan. And West Virginia entered today having punted 24 times. Oh, he's starting to the right like it might be a fake, but it's the rugby punt, hoping for a good bounce. And got just a little bit of a bounce. To the 15-yard line, 39 yards. Noah Whiteside downed it. So here comes Clemson, and they don't have to run a play. And it doesn't look like they will. The offense isn't even coming over the ball. The new rules this year, the clock will be started on the change of possession. Tommy Bowden saying, hey, ref, go ahead and move it. We're not going to snap it.
This is who wants it. I know it's cliche, but who wants it more? It's the 4th quarter. It's your rival game. It's all college football, man. Dig down deep and find a way to win.
Place will have to be made. You have to choose up sides in a rivalry like this. Proctor stumbled and his feet tangled up as he went for the handoff. Got tangled up with Dustin Fry, the center, and Will did well to hang on to the football. Sometimes that ends up as a fumble.
He's got to get out of there again. When you have the big fella dressed, Stanley Doty creating penetration, knocking people into the backfield, causing the trip up.
He started the day with both of these defenses in the top 21 in the country in scoring defense. And what we have is a game in which through 3 quarters the two teams have combined for 739 yards of offense and 56 points. Now a low snap. Proctor did well to handle that, and his throw is on the money. First down to the 31. Thomas Hunter, the tight end again. Senior with a nice catch over the middle. He's out of Marion, South Carolina, former walk-on who's become a key member of this team.
Well, that's a good job, but Proctor sticking in there. And you saw Jasper Brinkley jump on the underneath route, just like we talked about with Clay. One in front, one behind. You can always break up on the front. Don't let anything behind you. Good read by Proctor.
Now Spiller trying to get outside, and he couldn't turn the corner. Well defended by Stoney Woodson, the safety, sophomore from Tampa, Florida. Loss on the play, back to the 29-yard line, -2.
Stoney did a nice job of keeping outside arm free, getting the safety up there for support and contain. It's a little easier for safety to keep contained on C.J. Spiller as opposed to a big 260-pound defensive end.
Second and 12, both Davis and Spiller on the field. And Proctor wants to throw it. Now he's going to run. South Carolina did a good job covering both of those backs in the flats. They each went out to a different side, and Proctor pulled it down and got a couple. Crowd groans, but Proctor didn't have anybody open.
I think they're groaning a little bit that Proctor didn't put that shoulder down and try to get some extra yards. He came in there with not even a very good slide. It was a nasty slide.
Spoken like the true defensive player
yes.
that you were and still are, I might add. 3rd down and 9. 4-man rush. Proctor with a lot of time now, running out of it, and he's sacked back at the 19-yard line by Eric Norwood, a true freshman who has become a sack specialist. His team leading 7th of the season. Tyrone Nick says Norwood has all SEC potential down the road.
Well, there's Eric Norwood right there. He keeps working, and that is the vintage coverage sack when there's no orange jerseys to throw it around. Proctor's got to make the decision to get rid of the ball. Sean, you mentioned Norwood. Again, in my film study this week, he's a guy that I wasn't even looking for or looking at. He jumped off the screen at you. Going to be a special player.
True freshman. Ackworth, Georgia. Cole chasing, and again a very high punt. McKinley had to back away from it. It gets a good Clemson bounce. Down near the 30-yard line. That was the first sack of the day for South Carolina. It came at a big time and was a loss of 12. And the punt, 50 yards. South Carolina with a chance for the lead when we come back. Rivalry Week presented by Remington continues on ESPN from Clemson, South Carolina. Dandy between the Tigers and the South Carolina Gamecocks. South Carolina has not led. They start this drive at their own 30, 1st and 10. Quick spin move by Kenny McKinley. And he's out to the 37, a gain of 7. Here's Reese.
Sean continuing to watch number 7 West Virginia at home against South Florida. 3rd and 19. Mountaineers still in trouble, and Pat White swarmed under by the Bulls defense. A 9-point lead, ticking down toward 8.5 to go in front of the stunned Mountaineer fans.
Well, it's really getting late there now, Reese. Not to take Reese's job away, determining when it's late. It's really late. Davis on 2nd down has the 1st down and much more. Again, this offensive line doing a great job opening up holes. Dwayne Coleman, the cornerback, called upon to make the tackle, but it's a 9-yard gain. It looks like, Chris, once South Carolina settled on an offensive line, this is the 5th straight game now that they've started this 5-some intact. You know, it takes a little while to gel.
Well, it does. And when you get a running back that runs that hard for you and runs people over in high knees and Thomas Coleman pancakes guys, that builds energy and momentum, and you get excited for blocking for each other, and you get excited for running for those big guys that are putting it on the line for you.
For this 5-game stretch with this same offensive line, Steve Spurrier hadn't had the same old line for more than 2 games in a row. And too much time taken by Mitchell. He tried to change the play at the line.
That will frustrate Coach Spurrier right there. So I get paid a lot of money to call the plays. Run the ones I call. I'm sure he has a little leeway to audibilize, but you don't want to audible when the clock's at 5 seconds and you make your mind up to start audibling.
Well, sometimes you have to help the quarterback, too, by getting those plays in a bit more quickly. It can be chaotic on that sideline as they try to send in the plays. To the 41-yard line, 1st and 15. Mitchell. That's a 2-yard gain. Gaines, Adams ran him down with help from Nick Watkins. Key plays. Where do you start? Jock McKissick with the score that was the difference at the half. Gaines, Adams deflected the pass, run back 82 yards. That made it 21-14. That was the score at the break. Looked like the South Carolina defense would match it, but Nathan Pepper started loafing the last 10 yards or so after the interception. James Davis punched it out for a touchback. And South Carolina has gotten the tying score. They have not led today. They trailed by 14 at one point. That pass looked to be tipped, and it's still caught by Sidney Rice, about a yard short of the marker. Dwayne Coleman had the coverage, 13 yards on that reception, and that'll get Rice over 100 for the 10th time in his career, 10th time in just 23 career games.
Blake Mitchell with the recognition. They come with the zone blitz from the left side, the wide side of the field. Rice runs the outcut. Blake Mitchell knows that's the weakness of the defense. Just let me be patient, let Sidney come open, and bam, throw it away from the zone blitz or the pressure.
That ties Sterling Sharp's school record for 100-yard games receiving with 10 for Rice, and he's not even at the end of his sophomore year yet. Corey Boyd on 3rd down and a yard got it before Michael Hamlin and company. Nick Watkins drove him back, but it is a 1st down for South Carolina at the Clemson 43-yard line.
I overheard Davis on the sidelines. That's Mike Davis saying, what about this running back duo? And Mike, you're right. What we've seen today is 2 great running back duos in the state of South Carolina with Mike Davis, Corey Boyd, on the South Carolina side, along with C.J. Spiller and James Davis from the Clemson side.
And Steve Spurrier said he thinks that Davis and Spiller are the best tandem of backs he's ever seen on the same team in college football, and that's saying a lot given his experience. But his guys aren't too shabby. There's Boyd again, spinning down to the 26. Maurice Nelson made the tackle. The junior from Rembert, South Carolina, who was a special teams player throughout his career until the injuries opened up the starting job, and he's been solid. That's a 17-yard run, another explosive play.
You see Corey Boyd right there, and you can see, you can watch the game in his visor. Chris Clemons is going to come up and again throw another no-hitter where Corey Boyd will make you miss. If you don't keep your feet, you go to your knees, good running backs like Boyd Davis on the Gamecock side will make you miss.
15 explosive plays, rushes of 12 or more, passes of 16 or more. Only 8 for Clemson. That is nearly a lateral. No whistle yet. It's a live ball, and Clemson has it. C.J. Gaddis deflected it. He wound up with it. Chris Chancellor batted it. Steve Spurrier wants the officials to ponder this. But there was no whistle and no indication of incomplete pass. They were judging it a lateral intended for Sidney Rice. Chancellor batted it away. Gaddis recovered it.
Line of scrimmage is about the 25 and a half. Let's see where this ball is tipped.
Well, it's not the line of scrimmages. Was the ball going forward? I think it was.
The ball was going forward. Absolutely. The ball was being thrown forward by Blake Mitchell.
So if the officials don't overturn it themselves, Steve Spurrier should use his challenge.
Chancellor did a good job of playing the bubble screen. Yeah, it is a forward pass. That ball rightfully should come back.
South Carolina is challenging the ruling on the field of backward pass.
So this is one thing I don't like about this. He has to use the challenge, and the official should get this right. The replay official should do this without him needing to do it.
Let's see where Rice is. Rice is standing on about the 27, and Blake Mitchell threw the ball from the 30-yard line, so that tells me that it's a forward pass.
Okay, here's Mitchell. The ball is right along the 30, and I mean, that's a good yard forward by the time it gets out to get deflected, and that's clearly a forward pass.
So that's a nice job by Chancellor. Again, South Carolina keeps going bubble screen, bubble screen, bubble screen. Clemson saying, I'm going to start playing the play. Chancellor did a good job of knocking it out. C.J. Gaddis running.
He's a freshman with a bright future. And I think this is clearly a forward pass. That ball almost at the 30-yard line. And here comes the announcement. The PA system blaring, so Tom Ritter waiting.
After review, video evidence shows that the pass was forward and therefore incomplete. It'll be second down.
Well, good use of the system there. Only 17% of the challenges have been successful this year in college football entering this weekend, so a rare successful challenge. It's an incomplete pass. And another huge development in a game with an incredible amount of bizarre twists and turns.
And that's why I'm in favor of instant replay, because you get it right. And it's well worth it. You're right, Steve Spurrier did have to use the timeout to get the challenge, but they got it right.
They should have been reviewing it without him needing to do that. So now second down and 10, and the officials are going to stop the play.
Please put 8 minutes and 44 seconds on the clock.
Yep.
8:44.
And that makes sense because the play should have been blown dead as soon as it hit the ground.
Thank you.
Instead, they allowed the action to continue as the players chased after the ball.
The polite official, he said, thank you.
We're in the South. In the Northeast, that would have been, what took you so long? Mitchell going toward the end zone, and it is incomplete. Intended for Mo Brown, a freshman. Here's Reese Davis.
Might have a game in Tallahassee now, Sean. Gators were up 14-0 on Florida State. Lorenzo Booker getting loose, could not get into the end zone. Shoved out by Reggie Nelson, but Joe Surratt would take care of business from there. Jeff Bowden's offense getting into the end zone. Big guy plowing through the middle. It's 14-7 late in the third.
And a big play here. 3rd down and 10. Suck up the field goal kicker well within his range. He has a very strong leg. Mitchell with time. He zips one, and it is caught, but short of the first down. Freddie Brown, every time he's had his hands on the ball, it looks like it's going to come out. Managed to hang on to that one. And Spurrier will have another decision to make. And he got a fortunate break there when the contested measurement went in his favor to keep a drive alive. He was stopped on a 4th down. At his own 39, that led to a Clemson touchdown. No decision here. He's going to go for the field goal in the lead. Suckup is 14 out of 17. Has not missed from inside of 45 yards. This is a 35-yarder. And it is good. Ryan Suckup gives South Carolina its first lead of the game with 7:51 to go. As wonderful as the weather. South Carolina and Clemson, a memorable 104th meeting. Gamecocks lead by 3, but a long way to go. 7:51 as Ryan Suckup kicks off to 2 dangerous return men. What a weapon he is. With that strong leg, no chance for the dangerous C.J. Spiller to run it out. Rivalry Week presented by Remington continues today on ESPN2 and ESPN First on ESPN2, 4:15. Boise State trying to finish the regular season undefeated with an eye toward a BCS bowl game. They take on Nevada. And the big battle to decide the ACC Atlantic Division title and a spot in the ACC championship game as Wake Forest visits Maryland. Rivalry Week presented by Remington here on ESPN and ESPN2. Boston College eliminated with its loss at Miami Thursday night. So it's winner take all tonight in College Park, Maryland. Reggie Merriweather, the senior, is in at running back. He takes the handoff and powers ahead for 10. They have a bevy of running backs, as Rob Spence put it. Their offensive coordinator and the senior, who hasn't played much lately due to injury. It's a big hand from this appreciative crowd. He's been a terrific player and a real team guy who's accepted the situation with the arrival of Davis and Spiller eating up what would have been his carries. He's a class act.
Yeah, it's interesting to know Coach Bowden during crunch time, he's going to his senior. Senior, that time, paid off with the first down.
Here's Merriweather again, the real fan favorite. Out to the 37. Gain of 6. Here's Reese Davis.
Sean, the clock is now winding down toward 5 minutes to go in the game. In Morgantown, South Florida is beating West Virginia, but West Virginia, just as I speak, scored a touchdown. Brandon Miles catching a 44-yard touchdown pass. And now Rodriguez's team is within 6, extra point pending. Brian Brom leading the Big East in passing yards per game. Louisville and Pitt coming up.
Richardson, the big left tackle, guilty of the movement. As Reese was giving you the update, Reggie Merriweather came off the field to a thunderous standing ovation after his back-to-back carries.
Prior to the snap, false start, 79, offense, 5-yard penalty, made second down.
Due to injuries, Reggie had just 1 carry over the last 7 games coming in. He was a star of their win in 2004. Against South Carolina, the ugly brawl-marred game when he rushed for 125 yards and 3 touchdowns. Costly penalty, 2nd and 8. Bogey Ford went in motion. Proctor looks the other way into traffic, and it is batted down by Captain Munnerlyn. Had it gotten over his head, C.J. Spiller in stride was looking at the go-ahead touchdown.
It's a nice call right here by Rod Spence. You're going to try to get C.J. Spiller and his speed down the sidelines, but the Captain Munnerlyn, the true freshman, doesn't bite, does a good job of getting back. And I'll tell you, football is a game of inches. He's able to get a couple fingernails on there to knock it down because that ball's thrown a little bit long. That's touchdown. I always say, Sean, if you're long, you're never wrong. You got to throw that out there where CJ can run underneath it.
CJ Spiller stays in it back. Third down, high throw. It's caught by Aaron Kelly. And we'll have another measurement perhaps. Looks like he got across that yellow line for the first down. Kelly, a sophomore from Marietta, Georgia. His number's down a little bit this year. I feel like he lost some confidence, lost his starting position to Rendrick Taylor, then got it back when Taylor was injured.
He makes a big play right there, but poor tackling by the two freshmen, Munnerlin and Cook. You got to come up and tackle high. You got a big, stringy, lanky body like that. You got to come take his rear end high so he doesn't get the first down.
9-yard gain, first catch of the day for Aaron Kelly. 24th of the season. From the 41-yard line, 1st and 10. Proctor pump fake. Didn't have the go route open. Now just trying to stay on his feet, and he's taken down by Jasper Brinkley.
Well, Proctor had Grisham wide open in the middle of the field. His eyes dropped. His eyes went away from the receivers downfield. Started to feel the pressure. You're going to see Grisham is going to come open. Grisham's right here. He's going to eventually work his way open. Here's Proctor. He will roll. Grisham keeps working. Throw the ball to him, young man. Give him the ball. Let him make a play. But his eyes dropped. Didn't keep his eyes on the receivers downfield. And it was eaten up by Jasper Brinkley.
Junior from Thompson, Georgia, first year at South Carolina, Georgia Military College. He and his brother, Casper, both played at Georgia Military last year. They were determined to go to the same college together. Georgia wanted Jasper, and now Casper. Here's C.J. Spiller. All the way to the 38-yard line of South Carolina. First down, 24 more for the brilliant freshman. Up to 140 yards on 7 carries.
That's that same side counter trap, and instead of the back lining up opposite, he just stays there, and it kind of turns into a draw trap look. And when you have offensive linemen turning and pulling and get knockout blocks, and CJ doesn't get touched to the second level, you get a big explosive play. I'd one for the Clemson list for the explosive plays.
They're still down though. Rob Spence says ordinarily if you have 2 more explosive plays than your opponents, you win. Well, Carolina has 6 more right now, and they have a 3-point lead. Here's Spiller again. It's actually going to drag down his average. He's averaged 20 yards per carry today. That's only 9. To the 30. Chris Hampton made the tackle. Spiller a bit winded. They have plenty of good substitutes. There's Rob Spence behind the glass, one of the best offensive minds in the country. Put up huge numbers when he was the offensive coordinator at Toledo, and has had the same type of success here. Under 4 minutes to go. 2nd and 1. Spiller taken down in the backfield. Bounced off the original hit, but never could get closer to the line of scrimmage. Chris Hampton up from the safety spot. Jordan Lindsay in there. A little bit of a loss on the play, a loss of a yard. It'll be 3rd down and 2.
I see CJ with his hands on his hips, Sean. He's looking to the sidelines. Not a bad idea maybe to get the other horse in there, James Davis. Right now, it's a battle of the big fellas right there.
Yeah, he's winded.
Yeah, South Carolina won, and they pushed the line of scrimmage back, but CJ he's winded a little bit. He's sucking air.
I mean, he's the speed guy. Davis and Merriweather more of the power backs. 3rd down and 2. They stick with Spiller. He had enough in the tank to get the first down. Boy, he looks tired as he rolls over on his back. Toward his back anyway, and he's slow to get up. First down to the 23-yard line. Hampton another tackle. 8 more for Spiller. And now he's going to limp off, favoring his right leg.
Yeah, he might have rolled his ankle. He had the body roll up on him. He's been certainly the horse today that you want to ride. But again, a sub to James Davis. Watch this. Vision. Then the burst with the cut. And the vision again to keep running and keep running. Hampton looked like he got the right ankle.
That right ankle got twisted on the tackle. Reggie Merriweather, the crowd loves him, comes back in. He helped get this drive started with the first 2 carries. 10th play of the drive now, 1st and 10 from the South Carolina 23. 2:45 to go. South Carolina leads by 3. Merriweather spins down to the 17. Upended by Marvin Sapp. 6 yards for Merriweather.
Reggie's all jacked up, and here comes James Davis. No, I might want to run Reggie. Reggie's in the senior year. There's nothing going to stop him, Sean. But don't forget, you got JD. And JD's top rusher in ACC or close to it.
Yeah. Davis, who just came in, was one of the 10 semifinalists for the Doak Walker Award as the best running back in the country. He did not make the list of the 3 finalists: Darren McFadden, Steve Slayton, and Mike Hart. The remaining candidates for the Doak Walker Award. Davis ahead to the 16-yard line, a pickup of 1. Yvonne Banag, who started this week for the injured Cody Wells, made the tackle. He's a sophomore. And now a big 3rd down. The crowd wants Reggie Merriweather back in.
They got 9 in the box. I mean, Ty Nix is doing what he can do to stop the run. It's up to his players to execute. They're playing man-to-man on the corners. They're playing their safeties about 6 yards, and they're daring them. It's a matter of who's tougher. This is beautiful football. Football.
They're in the short 3. Run blitz from South Carolina, and it looks like Davis has the first down. To the 13, Jasper Brinkley made the tackle. And the time a huge factor now. 1:20 left, 3 timeouts for Clemson, 2 for South Carolina. They will measure. And it looked like he got the first down. They also have a very good field goal kicker if it comes down to that in Jad Dean, but you know, they much prefer the touchdown and the lead with under a minute and a half to go.
I love to give credit to blockers. Michael Palmer right there cleared the way. He took Chris Hampton and put him on his back and allowed James Davis to get the extra inch for the first down. See Ty Nix bringing a host of front 7 defenders, fresh bodies in, and the big orange pants are winning the battle up front. They want more right now.
1st and 10. A non-controversial measurement that time. 13-yard line. 1 minute to go. Davis to the 11. Lemuel Jean-Pierre, backup. Defensive tackle in there.
46 seconds of ticking.
Now the crowd wants to see a little more urgency here. That was a conservative play call, and they're taking a lot of time. Now they get up quickly, and they didn't seem very organized, and Davis dropped for a loss of a yard. Back of the 12 by Nathan Pepper, and Tommy Bond wants a timeout. They don't see him. Finally, he gets it with 27 seconds to go.
11 seconds ran off, Sean. That play ended with 38 seconds. 11 ran off. Come on.
3rd down now for Clemson, down by 3. 27 seconds to go. 2 timeouts left for each team. 15th play of the drive, started at their own 20. From the 12, 3rd down and 9. They need to get to the 3 for a first down. Out of the shotgun, here comes a blitz, and Proctor is sacked. Back at the 23 by Jasper Brinkley. A huge play. Now Clemson has to kick the field goal, and it will be a much more difficult field goal try for Jad Dean, the senior who's had an up and down year.
Yeah, they have the screen on right there. Nobody picks up Seville Newton coming from his free safety spot. They got to have a hot receiver. He doesn't throw hot, then throw it away. Don't take the sack.
Dean, 15 out of 19 this season. Early on had a problem with kicks being blocked, but he has made his last 8 field goals. Tommy Bowden said early in the year it was just a matter of the timing being off. And now they've gotten that down with the snapper, the holder, and Dean. And he has been a very dependable kicker throughout his career. 51 out of 65 in field goals made throughout his career.
Sean, I watched him in warm-ups, and the one thing he does, he gets the ball up in the air quickly. He does not line the ball. Much like Suckup from South Carolina, he will get the ball high enough, usually at this distance, to avoid anything from the big fellas getting their big balls in the air up the middle to block it.
Dean had 2 field goals blocked at Florida State in the 3rd game of the year. Returned for a touchdown. Since then, he's made 11 out of 12 field goals, and his only miss was a 53-yarder at Wake Forest. As we said, he's made his last 8. Cole Chasen, the punter, is the holder. It'll be a 39-yard try from just inside the left hash mark. The wind is not a factor. There's hardly a breath of air in the stadium, and that includes the crowd collectively holding their breath. And a timeout called by South Carolina.
Got to keep your eye on for South Carolina. Jasper Brinkley's going to try to push Stanley Doty. Stanley Doty's a big load that can get penetration. You add the push of Jasper Brinkley to Stanley Doty's rear end. That's where you have to be able to guard against anything up the middle. We'll take a look at the setup when they bring it back up. Jasper will line up on Stanley Doty's rear end, and he'll get down in his stance and try to drive him through that line of scrimmage. Stanley's not a little fella.
No. Nothing you can do now as a coach. And we've seen this before, involving the Bowden family in particular. Games decided by a field goal. The history has not been particularly kind to the Bowdens, in particular the patriarch of the family, Bobby Bowden, still coaching in his late 70s. Tommy Bowden's 52. He said, I'll be happy if I make it to the 60s in coaching. I don't want to hang around as long as my dad has. It's been an emotional year for Tommy. His brother Jeff resigned as offensive coordinator for his dad under pressure. But here's Dean with a chance to tie it.
There's Brinkley with the push.
39-yarder out of Chasen's hold. The kick is no good. Hook wide left.
That sideline of Gamecocks, that's college football. That's pure form of love of the game. Right here, it looks like he has it, then he put a little hooker on it. No good, the snap hook got him at the end. Let's check the hold. Good job, laces out. Good plant. Come on, baby, stay inside. Oh, darn it, just hit that OB line.
Its 4-game losing streak head-to-head against their in-state rival, and they do it in dramatic fashion. This time for Coach Bowden, wide left. And another heartbreaking loss for Clemson. 2 one-point defeats earlier this year, and now a 3-point loss to their rivals from Columbia. Here's Rob Stone with Coach Spurrier.
Coach, what does this win mean for your program?
Hopefully it's a turnaround. I said we need to beat these guys sometime, so hopefully we can start beating them a little bit now.
A game that had...
really proud of our guys. All the crap that happened, our guys hung in there, kept playing, and finally the tables turned. We got a good break when their kid missed a field goal.
Coach, a game that had so many big plays, which one was the most pivotal in your mind?
Well, when he missed the field goals when we won. But all of our guys played their hearts out. Really proud of them.
How do you address your team in the locker room after a win like this?
Thank you, man.
Never easy for the Gamecocks, Coach.
Steve Spurrier, the first South Carolina coach who will take his team to a bowl game in each of his first 2 seasons as head coach. Emotional loss for C.J. Spiller in defeat. He is the Cooper Tires player of the game. 155 yards on just 10 carries. And with the win, South Carolina shores itself of a trip to a bowl game. They're 7-5. Clemson falls to 8-4. Final score, 31-28 Gamecocks. College Football Scoreboard presented by Acura is next. For Chris Spielman, Rob Stone, and our entire crew, Sean McDonough saying so long from Clemson, South Carolina. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.